I'm Bob. I like coffee. I also like to tell stories. So here at the Bobcast Coffee, it's time for a coffee break. So take a coffee break with me and pour yourself a cup of your favorite Joe. By the time you're done with your coffee, you'll know something about me you really didn't need to know. But you'll have fun learning it. Just remember, my stories are true. For the most part. This episode is brought to you by Scars and Stripes Coffee. Reynolds Revival, the producers of Bobcast Coffee, have teamed up with Scars and Stripes to bring you one of the best cups of coffee you will ever taste, lovingly roasted here in the great state of Oklahoma and shipped straight to your taste buds. Scars and Stripes Coffee is all about veterans helping veterans. Unlike other companies who say that part of the proceeds go to helping veterans, with Scars and Stripes you can look directly into the eye of the person selling you your coffee and get to know the vet that is being supported by your purchase. To find out more about the company, the mission, or just to buy the greatest coffee ever, go to www.ss.coffee/Reynolds. That's www.ss.coffee/REYNOLDS, or go to the link in the description at the bottom of the show. All right, today we are going to continue the saga of Sand Hill at Fort Benning, Georgia. I'm still drinking my coffee. I've still got that same cup of coffee still going. Like I said, it's a big cup, holds lots of coffee. Love it. The best part of coffee is that you can always make more. All right, so let's talk about more life over at Fort Benning, Georgia. All right, so Georgia is a beautiful state. It is absolutely gorgeous. Fort Benning is actually really nice. They've got a fabulous golf course. I think it's 36 holes. I actually spent one of my days there doing base duties. You have to spend 2 days doing base duties. And one day I was out mowing the grass on the golf course. 36 holes, absolutely going through the forest, beautiful place. And I was all by myself that day. I had my mower, I had extra gas, and they just had me go hole to hole. It was a push mower, and I was mowing around the greens and stuff, and it was pretty cool. Bayonet assault. Hey, did you know we're on the golf course for that? Not the Fort Benning golf course. Patton's private golf course. When Patton was base commander there, he had his own golf course, 3-hole golf course. Set up, it was coming right off his house, so he could go play golf every day. That golf course has long been overgrown, forgotten, until now. So here in the early 80s, they have dug out one of the holes, which was a dog leg right, if you know anything about golf. And that hole, they turned into a bayonet assault course for us to go do. We were the second company or battalion to actually train on that course. But you don't get to go out and run bayonet. They don't give you a bayonet and let you just go run out on the course. You got to do some training. So for about 3 days before, we did bayonet assault training, which led us to such beautiful thoughts like, what makes the grass grow? Blood, blood, blood! That's a famous one for us. bayonet assault is basically just hand-to-hand fighting with your rifle. So imagine pikes in the Middle Ages. If you're into karate, it's your bow staff. For practice purpose, here at basic training, they had pugil sticks, which looked like cotton swab Q-tips with an extra pad right in the middle. And you had this old-fashioned football helmet. And at our time, we had a pair of shoulder pads, football pads. It looked like a baseball chest plate for a catcher, and boxing gloves, lightweight boxing gloves that we wore on our hands. And we would wear that, and we'd go out in the middle of this ring and boom, 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 fight it out. All right, so the truth is, probably one of my favorite trainings at basic. It did not end well for me, but it was really cool. This was like, really, once again, movie time. This is what I imagined we would be doing at basic training. So, to do pugil stick training, we had a big round area that was surrounded by a sandbag wall that was 3 sandbags high. So you could easily step over it. But you were not allowed to step over it. Even the drill sergeants didn't step over it. Everybody that went into the training area, and it was a big circle, you had to go to the gate, which was just a spot where there were no sandbags. You ran around the outside of the sandbags 3 times. And then on your third pass, you would cut in and run the inside of the sandbags 3 times. To leave, you would do the same thing. Run the inside 3 times, the outside 3 times, and go get in formation. And that would be it. While you were in there, it was combat ready the whole time. So, yay. So what are they actually teaching us? Well, they're teaching you how to stabbity stab and slicety slice. It's pugil sticks. You also have the butt of the weapon that you can go hit. It's not complicated, but it's brutal. So to do the training, they would pair us up one-on-one, fit us up there. After everybody's spent a couple hours going stabbity, slashity, hitty, they would put us in, let us all sit down inside the circle in the sawdust, and they would dress 2 guys up, and they'd go at it and just fight it out. Now, if you get your pointy, stabbity edge, a hit on the person, that's a point, and that person's considered dead. And the idea was to stay out in the ring as long as possible, getting as many points as possible. We did that for a day, and Bob got really good at being stabbed. 5'2", I'm the second shortest person in the entire platoon. Now, if you remember the last episode, I talked to you about 2 people that would play an important part in the future of Bob at Fort Benning. One was the big football player guy that they threatened to make a 60 gunner and have him march until he dies, and the little skinny guy that was going to be the RTO and carry a radio until he died. Well, we're all in the same platoon. After we've spent an entire day stabbing at each other, the second day they did 2-on-1s, which was they'd put 2 guys out on a team to fight against one person. Now, if you get chosen on the 2-man team, you start in position 1 and you fight, and then you move to position 2 and fight, and then you become the guy that's fighting by himself against the 2. They just keep adding 1 person each time. That is all true unless you're the very first team out there, because someone's got to be the first 1-on-1, and that was Bob. So Bob's out there. I've got my pugil stick. I've got my football helmet, my gloves on, my breastplate, shoulder plate. I'm ready to go. And I'm looking at these guys. One, I'm looking straight over at this short little guy. He's just maybe an inch shorter than me, but he's right there. And then I've got the big guy. I can't even see his head out of my helmet because he's too tall. And I'm like, holy crap, this is going to be hard. But I know what everybody is going to expect me to do. The only person I really have a chance against is this small guy. So I've got my pugil stick. And I look at him, I go, I know as soon as they blow that whistle, I'm going to stab at him. Well, that's what everybody expects Bob to do. So instead, the moment I'm looking at him, I'm edging toward him. I'm trying to keep away from the big guy. And that big guy is getting ready to just plow me under. As soon as that whistle blows, instead of stabbing, I swing single-handed out like a sword, and I nail this really big guy right in the face mask with the pointy end. Whistle gets blown, Bob gets the point. Woohoo! Well, it's not like yesterday where that person's now considered dead. You got to get the best out of 3. So I've got to go up against these guys again. So, okay. Now, everybody knows this trick. They've all watched it. Big guy watched it. So they're going to expect me to now go after the little guy. And thinking that, okay, if I go after the little guy, that's what they expect. But was this big guy going to also expect me to swing out at him one more time because it worked so good the first time? Let's overthink this in a very short amount of time. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start playing toward the little guy again, and then instead of swinging toward the big guy, I'm going to jump at the little guy. And if I can get that point, I can get out of this ring without getting a point taken from me, and I'll look good. And listen, I'm fighting at basic training to look good. I am not looking good every day. I need a good pick-me-up day, and this is going to be it. So we're waiting, I'm ready. Whistle blows. And I know they're expecting the big jump this way, but instead I jump out, and once again, I one-handed, so I get the furthest reach possible, jam that pugil stick out at the little guy, and the little guy has stepped back, and I am not even close. And my pugil stick, it hits nothing but air. But now, I'm totally extended with my left hand out as far as it'll go. And I have just enough time to look over my left shoulder at this big honkin' football player who has taken his pugil stick like a baseball bat, and it's coming in, and he takes my head off. Now at this point, I'm only going to give you hearsay of what was told to Bob. But they say the crack of the helmet sounded like a baseball. This is off of a pugil stick that is padded. Bob got knocked over. His feet came up in the air, complete 360 to where my head was back up. My feet hit the ground just enough to take a little drag, and my head goes slamming into the sawdust, and boom, Bob is out. All I know is that when I came to, there was people in the pit fighting it out. I am outside the pit, up against a tree with a drill sergeant looking at me like this, waiting for me to come to. Or maybe just checking that I did come to, or I was still breathing, I don't know. My head was killing me. He absolutely cleaned my clock. And I don't think they carried me 6 times around that circle to get me out of the ring. I bet you they just threw my body right over the sandbags. But that was how you practice pugil sticking. Now, the next day, we actually got to go to Patton's golf course and run the bayonet assault course. I'm kind of excited about this because now we're going to be using our live bayonets, running down this course, stabbing into targets, looking cool, just like you would see in any World War II movie. Bob's kind of okay with this. That morning, we all get up, we're getting dressed. DI comes over to me at my bunk, has this big freaking first aid bag. And I'm talking, it is huge and heavy. And he drops it on my bunk. He says, "You're medic today." Okay. I'm not a medic. I know nothing about medic. I know this much of first aid. I know how to put pressure on a wound. That's it. That's all you need to do. Okay, drill sergeant, I'm on it. So now I'm carrying this like 30-pound bag, and I'm thinking, how am I going to be running down the bayonet assault course with this extra bag swaying in front of me? Well, it's real simple, Bob. You're going to put your M16 and bayonet right over here. And you are going to run the course with the bag, helping anybody that gets hurt. Okay. I end up running this course, it felt like a million times, probably 4 or 5 times, up and back, up and back. It's about a quarter of a mile. It's not that terrible. But I told you, we're the second group. Now, the first group just went in, I guess, to work the bugs out. We are the one, we've got members of Congress. We've got news stations. We've got cameras. They've made this looking really good. They've got smoke pots made out of tar and big rubber tires in the ground on fire, billowing smoke everywhere. I mean, great for your lungs. We've got trenches dug along that you're going to have to jump over that are filled with concertina wire. It looks wild. And they've got a loudspeaker playing Apocalypse Now type music blasting across the zone. So it really was set for a movie. But they were doing this all for Congress and all for the news media. We were just the lucky SOBs that got to run the course. So what happens? First wave of guys is going down the line, jump over the concertina, and some guy gets his pants and his boot caught in the concertina wire, goes down. Now, he's not in the concertina, it's just his pants. So I run over, I've got a pair of scissors, and I go snip, snip, and I cut that fabric free, boom, he's off. Running. Now I hear a scream for medic. And it's not like the war, it's just, hey, medic, get over here. So I go running over. The guy has hit the target, but he's running with enthusiasm. And, the music and the smoke and the cameras. And he hits, and his hand has slid off the M16, the grip, and right onto the bayonet, sliced right through his glove, and now he's got a bloody hand. It's not horrible, but it's pretty bad. So glove off, wrap it up, tie it off, go. And he's off down the road. Medic! I go running over, there's somebody else. Got caught got caught in the concertina or cut his hand or something. And I take care of it. Boom. I get to the end of the course, and now I'm working back. Finally, about my 4th trip back, DI is standing there, and he hands me my M16, and he takes the bag, and he starts walking down the lane, and it's Bob's turn. Bob, I will tell you, did not get caught in any concertina wire. Bob did not slice his hand. I had watched that way too many times. So instead of just charging down this lane like a madman, I kind of jogged up, looked at the next thing. It's concertina wire. I look to where I have sat there and cut people out of, and I go over here instead and jump over. I go up to a target. Instead of running in with everything I got, I kind of gently step up and go stabbity stabbity, right? I go up to the next target, slash slash, run up to the next target, stabbity stabbity, but I'm never hitting it with my full body weight. Those targets are thick and hard, and it would be very easy. I totally get how people were sliding their hands up and grabbing the bayonet. So the day ends. Bob comes out unscathed, but exhausted. And we still have a 7-mile hike to do. So, good day for Bob. Good day for bayonet assault training. That actually ended up being a good day. Unlike getting my clock cleaned, which I got teased about a lot after that. All right, so there's step 2. I think next time, we're going to talk about tanks and grenades. That was also another fun day at basic training. Until then, grab your coffee, drink your coffee, get back to work. See you next time.